Isn't it just a lovely intro? Just listen. So beautiful. Anyways, this is Sunless Skies. Tried to do a bit of a recording of it earlier today, but the save file, there are problems with the recording. I'm nowhere near an expert, so you know, fingers crossed that it'll go by it well this time. So we're just basically gonna dive straight into it. We're gonna go over some key points. So Sunless Skies, you never heard of it? It's a Lovecraftian sort of horror RPG type of game, heavily based on story, a lot of like text, so be reading a lot of that. The pronunciation of everything won't be perfect, obviously. I am only human. And yeah, that's about all we need to know to sort of start this off. And we're going to go with Legacy, because if I die, I do want to continue with a new captain. It's a sort of, it's more forgiving than Sunless Seas, which I played but didn't finish. Same with Sunless Skies, I have about 15 hours on it. Aiming assistance, now I know what you're thinking. I really like it to be on gentle, just because otherwise it's fidgety. It's so fidgety, so it's going to be on gentle. Projectile speed for enemies, standard and standard. That I do not mind. The flickering means we are going in the right direction. Locomotives with white running lights are not hostile. Good tip. I'll try and remember. Try and remember that. Going forward. Just going to use this time for have a sip of water because it is so hot outside. Quite dehydrated. Very hot today. In the UK, very, very hot. Obviously, being in quarantine, I've just been out in the garden, but ooh, we're there. Log of Her Majesty's Locomotive, the Orphean, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead has been eventful. The Orphean is damaged, and in grievous need of repairs and supplies. We are returning, in haste, to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us, for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. Final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, DCM, written shortly before her death. Oh no. Oh no. And that there is the relay. So, just making sure my controls are right. And there we go, we're off, just out the relay. You have returned to the Reach, an untamed, sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier, a celestial garden, run wild. It has run wild, I mean look at it, look how gorgeous this is. Your journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged and Captain Whitlock badly wounded. We'll try and make haste. We will try indeed to make haste to New Winchester. As first officer, the crew look to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. I mentioned that. Can you get the Orphean there safely? Well, we will try. We will try and pick up the scavengy supplies along the way. That fuel, oof. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a barrel of fuel among the detritus. And there's also a wreck. A wreck drifts here, less fortunate even than you. Possible? I think not. We should scavenge her for repairs, a crewman suggests. Indeed, good suggestion. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocked with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of waxed canvas lined with felt, to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain Whitlock have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence him. Now is not the time. Indeed, because now is time to leap across that wreck. Come on. Let's leap. You jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds. Then your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias, and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold. One of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces open an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. See what I mean, like text heavy? Her interior is cold and lit, and whistles with wind. Your party's lamps spread buttery light over the narrow, panelled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corridor. Unfortunately, your way is blocked. A bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage. Well, we're going to clear that obstruction. We're not going to lead a more precarious, but we're going to clear the way. Success! As you strain against the stubborn steel, you remember an event from a year ago. A boiler explosion had trapped an engineer under a tangle of plating and pipework. The captain was first on the scene, you were second. Together you managed to pry the wreckage upwards, enough for you to crawl beneath it, while the captain braced the bar across her back. "By all means, take your time," she grunted, as you dragged the engineer out. Back in the present, the twisted bulkhead yields. Your companions clear the exposed rubble away. The way is clear. So we've reached the Ozymandias' hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully somewhere amidst the detritus, you can find parts to repair the Orpheum and restock your stores. We will conduct the most thorough of searches. Oof, we've got 4 supplies, yes, and 15 hull. 15 hull. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orpheum. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you've eaten worse in the skies. "Oh-ho!" cries one of your party, prying the lid of a long crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered birdcage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your finds. "Ha-ha! We're going to grab that cannon, the Jerusalem." The Cotterell and Hathersage Jerusalem fires single shells to a good range, more or less accurately. Less, if I'm the one doing the shooting, to be honest. You order 2 of your party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders, spasmodically. Oh dear. We're going to liberate that bat. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins haggling over pay. You offer to put it back in its damn cage and leave it on the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt it will last. And I think we're going to be greedy. And press onto the engine room. We might find more here. The wreck of the Ozymandias screeches as its metal buckles and tears. You press on through the shuddering corridors, searching frantically for the engine room. I think we're going to sort of lead by example here and go myself. Oh no. The engine room is grey with spilled ash and littered with corpses. Little has survived the Ozymandias' ruin. You search fruitlessly for coal, but linger too long. As the wreck is racked with final violent tremors, you race back to the Orpheum. With a dying groan, the Ozymandias splits in two, sending shards of splintered plating spinning into the sky. Several of them bite into the Orpheum, mauling its hull. Stoking your engines, you steam away from the collapsing wreck. You are restocked, at least, and rearmed. Well, onwards we go. And it's not F for me. It's 4, I believe. I put it 2. But we'll test that out later. Oh, I've been summoned by Captain Whitlock. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. We're going to ask the doc, what's up? A word of living fire pursued the Orpheum across the Blue Kingdom. It caught you just before you passed through the transit relay to the Reach, and set its brand upon the captain. It's burned itself right through her, the doctor whispers. When I closed the worst of her wounds, I could see the scientist seared into her bones and her organs. Judging from her symptoms, it's on the inside of her lungs too. The captain leans to one side and vomits a plume of fire into a copper bowl. There is nothing the doctor can do. Well, we'll have to go see her now. We're approaching that bedside. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hand grips your arm. Her skin is hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orphean will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath. But promise. She breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not made for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she is weaker. Her request little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. Well, we will promise. We will definitely promise. She sinks back relieved. All in my will, she gasps. Be a better... She breaks off as the sigils burned into her bones flare, glowing cherry red through her flesh and skin. Better captain than I. The effort exhausts her. She sinks back into the scorched pillows in a twisting, frantic fever. Not nice. Well, we still gotta get back. You leave the cabin and the scorched stink of its air behind, and return to the bridge. New Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. We gotta go. Oh, there's a marauder. Ooh. Maybe we can snipe him from here. See, I'm not very good at the combat in this game. Ooh. See? Terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. Right. That's why I need that gentle auto-aim. I thought I would have overheated in less time, but oh well. Let's grab ourselves some loot. See if we can repair the hull. Yep, strip it for repairs. There we go. Your engineers scour the remains of the Marauder for intact parts. Even before its defeat, it was rusting and rickety, its plating a patchwork of reclaimed steel and repurposed bronzewood. But enough can be salvaged to repair some of the damage to your own locomotive. Yep, well that'll do. That'll have to do, I guess. And on that note, we're heading to New Winchester itself. Just gives us enough time to admire the scenery, I think. It's a very, 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 very pretty game. Very unique look. A distant clamour of engine yards, an accretion of smog on the windows, and here we are. New Winchester itself. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot and the stream of Wolvesey Station. It is clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. I must speak with your captain, he insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. The doctor's right here. Who's going to break the news? The crew exchange bleak, wordless looks. The Orphean itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that unfortunately, Captain Whitlock has just passed. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad. Very sad. He waits for what he considers an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even amidst tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, the station authority require their answers from the first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pens. It will be relatively painless. Name, background, purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? And I think we just might begin. So, before jumping into this, I had given this a bit of thought. And I think I'm going to go with being a soldier. So, I'm going to just read the law. Today, London lies between the stars. A new empire unfolds across the heavens. But 10 years ago, before the Northern Gate was opened, before the renewed Empress led her people into the skies, it lay in a vast cavern far beneath the earth. Deep, dark, marvellous. Who were you then? Well, we were a soldier. We served in Her Majesty's military. And what were we? Well, we were in the commissariat. You were a bit of a sneaky dude. Winning, I think I'll go with the truth. I haven't finished Sunless Skies ever, but I mean, wealth and fame are sort of arbitrary objectives. And I wanted to be demanding, so there we go. Truth it is. Oh. Oh. Typing very hard. There we go. Back to it. And that will be who we are. Captain, if I can find it, if my mouse stops trembling. Captain, there we go. I think an ex-military sort of, shady dude. Yep, need a captain hat. That brow's too far advanced. Well, that one looks just silly now. No glasses needed. Go with that. In terms of the chin, don't need no beard. I like that. And the outfit, instead of being a dress, we'll go for, the sort of like military style armbands with the captain's hat, of course. So we are a captain now. This is like a coat that would suit my needs better. I mean, that's huge. It'd either have to be something like that, or like this. I think we'll go for something like this. Come on, let's change it up a bit. So, we're a soldier in the commissariat. We are looking for the truth. There we go. So, after 3 weeks of pause. Took us 3 weeks to create our character. This morning, Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to a necropolis train bound for the serene mausoleum. Now you sit with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. Well, we're going to listen to the end. In a final codicil, presume that's how that's pronounced, the notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed that possession of the Orphean was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry grey eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orphean's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at the time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card, and deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that is it. We are captain now. First thing we're going to do, disable advice. But yeah, we are captain now. We have some money, we have like a quest. It's good. Right, well, first thing we're going to do in New Winchester, we're going to visit the bazaar. And seeds. Okay. So, seeds. And bronzewood. So, seeds and bronzewood. We'll have a look. We'll see if we can find any. We're also going to spend a bit of our hard-earned money. Just getting some more fuel. Then we're going to head back to Wolvesey Station. And immediately, excuse me, Captain, a woman pushes through the crowds towards you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office, the body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. I'm hoping to book passage to Port Prosper, she says, slipping the watch away. I can, of course, pay. Well, we like the sound of money, because we're going to be needing a lot of it. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. So that's northwest of New Winchester. Okay, we can definitely have a look at that. We're going to recruit the incautious driver. I specialize in test driving, but I'm looking for something quieter. The driver indicates a crashed engine, still smoking. Like that. Without screaming. We've got enough money. And we do need one. The driver boards, eager to get started. I recently parted ways with the Windward Company, they explain. Personally, I think a crash a week isn't so bad. They disagreed. Oh well. Live and learn. Yeah, kind of... No. Not on this bad boy, you're not. Following your return to New Winchester, you are eager to meet up with an old friend. She is a staunch veteran. You served together in the military. She was reliable and brooked no nonsense. Well, she left the army not long after you did, and you kept in touch, mostly via letter, occasionally meeting in pubs or clubs. When London arrived in the heavens, she was smitten by the idea of a life among the stars, and invested her savings in her own locomotive. She is a skyfarer now, captain of the Azazel. She associates from the group of seasoned captains who gather at the Promise of Days, here in New Winchester. Perhaps you can find her there. Well, we'll definitely have a look. We'll definitely have a look at exploring the city. The smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart of the Reach. An ever-expanding port of soot-smudged glass and bright steel spilling across a drifting, mist-wrapped archipelago. Its factories thunder, its engine sheds ring with hammers and hiss with steam. Locomotives chug into sidings for repair, or flare across the sky and away into the high wilderness. Well, we're going to visit the Promise of Days in this smoggy, clanking, singing, stamping, thronging, frantic heart. Old pistons gleam on the walls. The shelves are crowded with mementos from across the sky. The clientele raise their voices to be heard above the comforting clamour of their adjacent engine yards. We may find helpful advice here. But, since I've already read this once before, it'll be fine. Four are gathered at their usual table. The masked citizen, a libertine, polymath, and pioneer of the neo-nocturnal artistic school. The bedeviled didact, a scholar haunted by his discoveries. The plucky baroness, explorer, collector, philatelist, and Spatchcocker Meg, who hunts monsters. Of course, everything out here is jolly dangerous, says the baroness. Few risk the skies, so news of distant ports is valuable. Collect port reports from the places you visit, and deliver them to Victory Hall or Company House. The more you turn in at once, the more they'll pay. Look for other opportunities on the way, advises the masked citizen. Passengers who want transport, rich men in need of bloody work, etc. Well, we've done one of those things, for the time being. So, we're good. But we will inquire about her friends. About our friend. She. Her. Ah, she speaks of you often, the plucky baroness says. I'm afraid you've missed her. We've all been missing her recently. Busy girl. But she's doing important work in London. The bedeviled didact frowns darkly and fingers one of his amulets. We've been assisting in our own small ways. But, well, she'll want to explain herself. She has left a letter for you. Meg pulls a crumpled envelope from the pocket of her patched coat. I'd open it somewhere private. Or someone. She glares at the masked citizen. Will try to read over your shoulder. The masked citizen nods unapologetically. It's true, I am a disgrace. Well, we'll definitely get to reading that sometime soon. Nope. We already know how to make a fortune through trade, although I don't presume we will make a fortune. Before reading the letter, we will in fact repair our locomotive, see if we can. It's got a bit of damage. The mechanics take pride in their work. Your newly returned engine is not just fully repaired. It gleams. Ah, well, it deserves it. It deserves it after the Blue Kingdoms. Nope, do not want to explore the city. To hire some more crew. Your voyages have grown perilous of late. Numbers and morale are lower than they were. Today in New Winchester is abuzz with rumour. A famous taxi captain has turned tail and fled back to London. Promised a generous pension and a full pardon in exchange for selling secrets. His crew are at a loose end and under a cloud of suspicion. Will they ever find work again? For 10 gold? Of course they will. Initially, the crew members are suspicious. They think you might be a journalist for the Gazette. Still, they're happy to drink on your coin, and, as the night progresses, their reserve vanishes. When they arrive at your inn the next day to sign their papers, they come with headaches and nausea and the last of their things. They go to their berths, ready to make for the stars again. So, fully crewed. We're going to have a look at that encoded letter. Privately, you examine the letter. The staunch sergeant's handwriting, never neat, is clearly hurried. There are several unfinished trains of thought, angrily struck through. She writes coyly of having embarked on a journey of the most fundamental discovery, and of having uncovered celestial secrets. She says she wants to discuss her progress with you, but does not say where or when. The envelope also contains a collection of unfinished crosswords cut from the newspapers, for which we would need 2 savage secrets to decode. Well, that gives us an objective. Just going to have a look at the journal, but for the time being, our main focus is get to London. Yeah, our main focus would be get to London, but London's a far way away. So, we can go east, we can go west, but I think we're going to go west first. We're going to go to Port Prosper, then swing down to Magdalene's, and get to Port Avon afterwards. I think that'll be the plan, but that plan is indeed for next time. This is just a tidbit of it. So next time we're going to go hit up our trading opportunities, take the inspector to where they need to be, and discover a bit of the sunless sky. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.